All right, Sharon is up. Sharon's with us in New York, or what is it? Yeah, New York, New York. Hey, Sharon, how are you?
Hi, good. My husband and I are debating if we should file for bankruptcy. First of all, thank you so much. We love your show, and we hope you can help
So
us.
it's bad. It's bad around there, huh?
Yeah, it's very bad. Very bad.
How much debt have you got?
Our household income is 70 gross, and I have $14,000 on the HELOC on my house, $80,000 in credit cards, and a car lease, which is $420 a month. I have $13,000 on it.
Okay. What in the world have you been doing with these credit cards?
What? We're not sure. It's been dragged for 4 years because one time we were very young and we didn't make a lot of money and we lived on it, like food and things. And instead of covering it, we just paid minimum and the interest ate it up. And now we're like woken up. We have 2 babies, and I mean, we can't turn the wheel back. We didn't even know about you back then. We were a mess.
How many hours a week? How many hours a week do you work?
So, maybe 36. My husband works full time. He's 60 gross, and then 10K is side jobs that we're doing. We also have 2 small babies at home.
Okay, so you're at home.
I'm at home now, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, and he's working 36 with side jobs. I got you. Okay.
I mean, I'm working also a few hours a day. I do delivery.
Right, let me ask you this. Right quick. If you sold the car and got rid of the fleece and you just didn't pay the credit cards, what's that going to do? It's going to ruin your credit, and they might sue you before you can get around to paying them. Agreed?
So I haven't been paying them for 7 months.
Do you agree with what I just said?
If I'm not going to pay them, they're going to sue me?
Yeah, eventually. Maybe one of them will. So what? If they do, then you would file. But you're not bankrupt yet. You're just scared. So it's in Texas. Hey, Alex, how are you?
Better than I deserve.
Cool. How can I help?
So we finished with baby step 1. Now we're on baby step 2. And so you tell us that we have to go ahead and get work on the lowest balance to the highest balance. Well, my wife and I have been discussing about her student loan. By the time we get to the her student loan, it'll be about 2 years. And so she says about 2 years, she'll be able to apply for, they basically will waive what the balance that she owes because she works at a high-risk school. So she says we should just skip that and just pay the minimum on that student loan and work on the other ones.
Who is paying it?
Well, what it does is that she has like a special, a grant that if she works a certain amount of years at a high risk school, she'll be from the actual student from Sally Mae, one of those loan
No,
companies.
she doesn't either. That doesn't exist. There are high risk forgiveness programs, but they may be managed through Sally Mae, but they're probably associated with your state. There may be a federal implication, but I don't think she's got good information.
Yeah, because that's what they mentioned to her, in 2 years she'll be able to apply and have the actual loan be forgiven.
Up to how much?
Up to basically, by that time, I think it's $7,900.
How much?
And so by $7,900.
That's her total student loan debt?
No, her student loan debt is $15,000.
That they will forgive $7,900 2 years from now.
Yes.
And what is your household income?
Household income after taxes?
Either.
Okay, after taxes is about $6,000.
Okay.
It fluctuates because I get commission.
Yeah, and how much debt do you guys have, not counting your home?
$300,000.
300,000?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's not counting the home, right?
Yes.
What do you have?
cars, credit cards, personal loans, second mortgages, just different. Yeah, it got out of hand.
Wow.
Okay, so wait a minute. You have $300,000 not counting your home.
Yeah, so that's what she says. Like it's a small dent because
it's not even in the discussion. What break the $300K down for me because I'm having trouble here. How much is credit cards?
So credit cards is about close to 150.
Oh, okay.
$1,000.
And how much on these cars?
And then on the cars, they're basically $60,000 on two.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
And
that's $210. What's the other 90? Student loans?
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of student loans too.
Well, it's student loans, but it's actually the one that we're discussing is that because she has different student loans from different student loan companies, and so that's what she was telling me for what the amount that we owe.
I thought you said she had $15,000 in student loans. Now I got 90 in student loans. So you've got 75.
Yeah, no, it's what we were discussing is that those 90,000, 15,000 are there are different companies that she owes.
Oh, so they're all her student loans.
Yes, but they're all from what we're discussing is those $15,000. They said they will be able to only waive $7,900 of it.
Gotcha.
So that's what she says. It's like it's such a minimum amount.
Right.
She says, why worry about that section of student loans where in 2 years we'll be able to pay that off? So that portion that student loan, we should skip it and concentrate on the other bigger loans.
Okay, well, Alex, let me just help you here. I've read through and I've heard about people talk about student loan forgiveness. I've listened and read about mortgage loan forgivenesses. These programs aren't real. Okay, there is so much red tape and so many different nuances inside of it. I don't want you pinning your hope to this thing that isn't going to work out. Yeah. So I want you guys to make a decision about what you're going to do for your future. This is about payoff, not forgiveness.
Yeah, it's okay if you park it for 2 years because it's going to take you longer than 2 years to clean up this mess and give it a shot. But if you don't cross every T and dot every I, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And if you do get it, it's a very unusual thing. Now, it's not the 10-year program. It's a high-risk thing. And usually that's a 5-year basis, right? Or a 4-year basis? Is that what this one is?
Exactly, 5 years because that's what they told us at 5 years.
Yeah, that might actually work, but you got bigger problems than that.
So,
what did you run up on credit cards?
If you ask me, I don't know.
How long have you guys been married?
We've been 21 years.
Okay. All right. And so when are the cars going to be sold?
The sold is going to be...
You heard the statement. Yeah, you heard the statement, right?
You need to be in two hoopties.
Yeah. You need a skateboard.
Man, you guys you didn't see anything anywhere in any store that you hadn't bought. And so you're gonna have to go. You're gonna let the pendulum swing all the way the other way and have a complete change of heart. And you're over here discussing an $8,000 forgiveness when you got $150,000 in student loans, $60,000 in cars. So the cars need to be gone this week, or up for sale this week. Anyway.
Yeah, don't even go look at Amazon. Matter of fact, don't even say it.
You need to get out the cards and have a detailed, in-depth plastic surgery at your house. You are way overdue for that. And then we've got to get you on a really tight budget. And then if you want to park that to the side, do the paperwork, and hopefully you get that $8,000 forgiven, that's fine. But you know what? You have a $300,000 story. $8,000 is just a little sidebar discussion.
Yeah.
So in that sense, she's right. I hope you can get it forgiven. But it doesn't solve your problem. You got such other issues you got to deal with that are such a bigger deal. So make sure, hang on, I'm going to have Madison pick up. We're going to make sure you get you in financial peace for the 14-day free trial. And you guys get in there and start watching the videos and get on the same page. And you really need to sell so much stuff the kids think they're next.
Yeah.
You are really going to have to clean house here, man. You have a mess and radical change in your behaviors. It's like you're going down the road, down the interstate, at 110 miles an hour the wrong way. We just stopped and got you off the interstate. Now go under the bridge and get back on going the right way and set your speed limit, set your screws at the speed limit, and you'll get back. And you're going to change directions by 200 miles an hour here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... That's what you've got to do. So it's going to shock your system. It's going to shock the system of your crazy family. It's going to shock the system of your broke friends that you've been running around with spending money you didn't have on stuff you didn't need to impress people you don't even really like. It's going to shock your system. And you need your system shocked big time. And so it has to be a radical change. Otherwise, you're going to be bankrupt in 2 years because you don't have a middle ground here. This is going to take you out. With a $6,000 income, this is going to take you out. And that's what's gotten you on the phone. It's what's gotten you thinking about this. So we'll walk with you. But, dude, you cannot play with this. This is death by plastic. That's what you're facing if you don't put these things up and chop them up and end it. If you have a small problem, you can do a small adjustment.
Yeah.
But when you got a radical problem, you got to do a radical adjustment.
I agree, Dave. I'm with you. And he's got to get her on board. They've got to sit down and have a heart-to-heart today about this situation. Because you're right. I see bankruptcy in the future if they don't make a change. They're not going to fix it. I know they can fix it. They just have to make that decision.
So let me throw out one more thing. The reason I'm leaning on you, brothers, because I love you and I want you to win at this, okay? I'm not fussing at you. I've been right where you are. But this is like you calling up the marriage counselor and going, we got serious marriage problems. My wife doesn't like the color of the drapes. It's like a deflection. The color of the drapes ain't the issue, Bubba. Yeah. You got other issues. Okay. Shauna is in Michigan. Hi, Shauna. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so I just recently, with my husband, decided to listen to some of your principles that are tried and true. We have gotten our $1,000 in our savings account, and we're starting to work on our debt snowball. Mm-hmm. And I find myself quite overwhelmed. So my background, I'm actually a physician, and I paid for myself to get through my undergrad and medical school. And at that point, not blaming it on anyone, but didn't get great advice, was kind of told, take out the loans, you need money to live, and you're going to make enough money one day, you'll be able to pay these off. Well, I'm learning now that I've been out for 5 years that that's not necessarily the case. And I have $297,000 in just my student loan debt.
And you just lived on that?
Yeah, well, it started out at about 200, and over the years of deferment through residency, it's grown. And
so you're an MD for 5 years?
Yeah.
What do you make?
About $300,000 a year.
Did you say 300,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So why have you not paid your loans off?
I don't know. So we're also building a house, which we started that process.
Why? You're broke.
Before. I know. Well, my dad died unexpectedly about 1.5 years ago, and he was really young, and it wasn't really the plan for me to kind of take over responsibility for my mom. But that's what happened, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. So why are you having to take over your mom? She can't take care of herself?
She's retired, and she has some rheumatological disorders and has some issues with movement. She's not to the point where she needs a caretaker, but we made a decision that we wanted to have her move in with us because we wanted somebody to be looking out for her. And we looked for a home where she could live with us that had a mother-in-law suite, and we couldn't find anything with a first level, mother-in-law suite. They were in the basement.
How long before the house is completed?
It will be completed in July.
Okay. And what did it cost?
$800,000.
For a mother-in-law suite?
We're building a brand new house. So we're going to be selling our current house, and we're building a house that...
Okay, and what will your current home bring?
Probably about $350,000.
Is it paid for?
No.
Of course not. What do you owe on it?
Around 200.
So you're barely going to get out of it.
Right.
So you're taking out an $800,000 mortgage.
Right.
For a mother-in-law
And
suite.
I'm paying, yeah.
So for $600,000, I think we could have found another way to take care of your mother. All right. Okay, does your husband work outside the home?
He does.
Good. What does he make?
He makes about $40,000 to $50,000 a year.
Okay. So you have a $350,000 income with an $800,000 mortgage and $297,000 in student loan debt. Did I get all that right?
Yeah.
That's when the smoke clears. Okay? Now, you have to decide if you're going to continue doing these things that aren't working. If I was your patient and I was behaving this way, you would box my ears. You would say, Dave, if you keep this up, you're going to kill yourself. If I was your patient and I was doing something contrary to every possible medical solution, correct?
Correct.
Dave, if you keep eating chocolate chips by the bushel, you're going to kill yourself. Dave, if you keep whatever it is, right? If you meet patients that are misbehaving in the care of themselves, and if they continue on that, you can look at them and say, you're going to kill yourself, can't you?
Yep.
That's that's the conversation I'm having with you. Can you feel it?
Yep.
You have to stop. You make plenty of money, and you guys completely misbehave with it. And so you need to stop buying stuff and get on a beans and rice and beans, scorched earth budget. You are not a doctor. You are a broke doctor. You are over $1 million in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good news is you got a really big shovel. And as soon as your brain wraps itself around what you have to do to clean this mess up, you're going to mathematically be able to clean it up really quickly. But it is so far from the way you've been living for the most of your life that you're going to have to completely retrain your method of thinking, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to be extremely frugal, extremely intentional and thoughtful with every penny, and there is nothing else is going to be bought. I don't want to hear any other rationalizations in your life about buying something ever again. You guys have got to stop this. You should have been rid of the student loan debt, and of course you shouldn't have built this house. These are two, I mean, you should, easily with $350,000 income. If you just figured out something for your mom and stayed in that house for a little while, we could have cleaned this up really fast. As it is, this house is going to slow it down some, but I still think you can do it. I know you can do it mathematically. But you and your husband need to sit down and say, okay, we've been sleepwalking through. Roxanne is up next. Roxanne's in Kentucky. Hey, Roxanne, what's up?
Hello, how are you doing?
Great. How can we help?
Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I'll give you a quick background, and then I'll ask my question. My husband is a physician for 21 years. In the past 10 to 12 years, he's been making investments off and on, some that I've known about, some that I haven't. 2 years ago, I found out that he had taken out some loans and credit cards without me knowing, and took out $287,000 in debt to invest in certain variety of things. I found out about it. We paid it all down. We sold the house last year. He said that we sold the house and downsized so we could pay off some of that debt, or pay it off. And he told me he wouldn't do it again, that he wouldn't make these decisions without me doing it, with my knowledge. And Saturday night, I found out that he had taken $45,000 against his 401k and made another investment in December. So as of Saturday, I've been living in the guest room, and I'm not sure where to go from here from now. I told him last time he did it, I would leave, but I'm not sure if that's something I should do or not do.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen a marriage counselor?
We went one time, and then last January, and I don't quite remember why we didn't go back. Honestly, I don't think he really wanted to go back. I thought maybe we could work it out ourselves, so we haven't. No.
So if you were going to call him names, would you say he's a liar or he's arrogant?
He lies to me a lot.
About other things?
And oh yeah. Like when I asked him, when did he make that? I found out Saturday he did the 401k. I said, I assumed it was with all the other stuff 2 years ago. And so I kind of went outside to see our work that night. We were actually listening to Dave Ramsey on the Principal University Saturday night. And then it dawned on me, I said, when did you take out this loan? Because it's only been paid back $800 in 2 years. I said, when did you take this out? He goes, oh, I don't remember. I said, when did you take out this loan? Sometime in the past, I don't remember. And I looked it up because I figured out where it was. It was through his work, and it was December. So, yeah, he's lied in the past. I'll say, hey, did work go out slow?
About non-money things, does he lie?
Yeah. I'll say, oh, you stuck at work today? He's like, yeah, it was a long day, and then find out later that he actually was out shopping and doing different things.
Has he cheated on you before?
Not cheat, no.
What's cheat?
Like affair or anything? No, has not.
What about a history of addiction?
Addiction? The only addiction is this money. He wants to get rich quick. Addiction is shopping at discount stores and bringing home. I mean, he has like 25 water bottles. You know what I mean? Refillable water bottles. He has addiction of it's a good deal, so I've got to get it.
So this, you called to ask a question about money, and I'll pipe in, and then Dave, you've worked with these type of situations for 30 years. This doesn't sound like about money at all. Dave nailed it. This is about deception and lying, and really this is about fantasy. And so if there's not a history of infidelity also, or also a history of addiction, I actually did some research with a group. I called them resistant influentials, which was doctors and lawyers and presidents of things and preachers, folks who were real smart and accomplished in one area of their life, and they like to drag that perceived expertise all the way across. And they ended up with a wake of broken marriages and hurt people as they tried to take what they perceived as this all-knowing power and insight and wisdom into every facet of their life. The real question is, you can't make him stop. And you have this fantasy that it's going to get better, and this is what my marriage is going to look like. And at the end of the day, you know this, but whining and nagging, complaining, reasoning, none of those behaviors will make him stop. He's got to decide it. And so I default back to a psychologist who I love, Terrence Real, who just says, you've got to draw a line. You have to have a if you don't, this will happen statement. And then you've got to have done the math on the back end, both spiritually and emotionally and financially, to say, here's my line here. But the reality is this is not going to stop. And it clearly is not going to stop, especially, I mean, with the wounds of just coming over $200,000 or $300,000 paying back and then hopping right back in it. And so you're going to have to ask.
That was second time. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Prior. So I keep hoping it's going to stop, and it's not. So I don't know what.
So hope is a fantasy.
I think the thing that's missing out of this is you guys need someone in your life guiding you, and you don't have anybody. There's no one that he respects that is looking at him saying, you are a screw up. You are messing up your life. And so a good counselor will gain his confidence, not with manipulation, but just with relationship, and earn the right to say that and say, you are screwing up your life and you're going to have to stop this. A good pastor in his life, a senior friend in his life, that would sit down and guide the two of you. That also would give you some steps. I would never tell you in a 2-minute synopsis of your life that your marriage is over and you need to leave, unless he's hitting you and then you need to get out of there. But short of that, but what you're calling about is you're just trying to confirm you're not crazy, and you're not. But you do need. But I wouldn't just walk out. I would do some work on this.
Absolutely.
And go get some help. And if he won't go by yourself and get some guidance on how to draw the lines that John is talking about.
Okay. Well, I just actually found a counselor for myself because I don't even know how to approach this anymore.
Exactly.
Good.
So she's going to help me.
Good.
So, and I can't drag him to counseling, so maybe I should start with my own counseling, and then
that's fine. Or just tell him we ought to go. I'm going to a counselor, and we ought to go to marriage counseling also. There's nothing wrong with doing both simultaneously, because you just need some guides. Because both of you are, you just got a lot of trees around you, and it's hard to see the forest right now. And so you need someone to walk with you through this, and to give you a thing of saying, okay. Yeah, here's a map that is logical, a flow chart, if you will, that says if this continues at this point, I am done. Mm-hmm. But you can communicate that to him then, and you've communicated it once, one time, a long time ago, and then now you've got this one violation. But if it's continually, if there's a drumbeat of this is how this works, this is how this works, this is how that works, and because that's what happens with people, for instance, that are married to an alcoholic, they come to the end that they've done all they're willing to do, and then that relationship's over because of the alcoholism, and that's what's going to happen here. You will come to the end, but you need to come there.
With a guide. You've got to have somebody to go with you. With a guide
and with a path of incremental and lots of communication to him, to where he doesn't feel like, here's another example that is a parallel to this. When we have someone on our team out of our 1,000 folks that is not able to do the job or has some kind of a behavior issue in the way they're acting here at work, we don't just walk in and go, surprise, you're fired. We walk in and go, here's the things that you're doing wrong. Here's what you're going to have to not do. Here's what you're going to have to do in order to be able to stay. And then the first time they're half a button off on one of those, we say, whoop, time out. We said, remember, you got to get back in the lane. And what we will fire you over is not a singular event unless it's a major issue, but we will fire you over a pattern that is heading the wrong direction that we have clearly communicated to you